Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Dr. Homebrew. And of course, like we were pushing on the last show, it is our Christmas holiday, I don't know, holiday beer show, Christmas beer show, where we are consuming spiced beers that we wouldn't normally consume. I don't know about you guys, I'm not like a giant spiced beer guy or Christmas beer guy in general because I feel like it's really easy to overdo. I couldn't tell you the last Christmas beer that I bought non-ironically, or it's just
Mm,
like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. Let's buy it.
Mhm.
I can't remember. I mean, aside celebration aside, which I don't consider a Christmas beer, even though it comes out around now. Yeah, so I'm interested, and this is all Brian Shaw, I believe, right? This is your fault, Brian.
yeah, it's my fault. We needed to do
Yeah,
something, and I happened to be at Total Wine. And, by the time we kind of decided, yeah, Christmas beer is a good idea, I'd already gotten home, so I had to go back again the next day. Not that that's a
yeah.
big hardship to go to Total Wine.
I mean, you got to deal with people. That sucks.
That's
So we have
that's
a
the
bunch of
thing.
beers to try for you guys today, and what are we going to do, Coop? We're going to be running him through the brief score sheet machine to give a couple of grades, and
Yeah,
you
so
know,
we're just going to taste them and talk about them a little bit. We can't really fully discuss four beers on this show, but we can give our impressions of them and decide how does the balance work? Because to me, that's the essence of a good quality beer. A lot of these have spices in them. Uh, and
okay.
how does the alcohol combine with the spice or fruit or whatever, what have you, impression to make a well-balanced or not so well-balanced beer?
I like that. I like that concept. Let's do that. And I'm going to give it a number just cause I like doing that. I like judging things. Well, okay. Without further ado, the first beer, we're just jumping right into it because we have four beers to get through. Is the Allagash Ski House. Now, of course, great Allagash making a fantastic wit beer, a classic example, I would imagine. This is their winter white ale. It's 7.5% alcohol by
Mhm.
volume. Just already in the glass, about a foot and a half away. It smells like it's going to be a wit beer.
This is the only one that comes in a can for us as well, so it's kind of nice that way. It's good packaging.
Yeah.
Cozy up
Um,
or let the festivities commence with the notes of citrus, spice, and fresh ginger you'll find in Ski House. This full-bodied wheat beer is brewed to bring you the cheer of a snowy haven, no matter where you happen to enjoy it.
it looks like a wit beer. I mean, it's cloudy. It's yellow. It looks intentionally cloudy. I'm gonna say that.
Hmm.
Um, and it smells like it's gonna be amazing. Honestly, which I don't expect anything less from Allagash, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
got a
lucky to go
nice.
there like 20 years ago, and I had a great time. It's a great place to visit.
Hell yeah. The aroma on this thing is amazing. It's very lemon,
Wow,
Hmm.
a little bit of
Ginger.
pepper too, but like a ton of lemon. That's crazy.
that's really good. A lot of times, these spiced Christmas beers end up just being just a spice bomb,
Yeah.
and they're just a big mess, and they're not great. I think a wit beer is a great base for something like that because you've already got you know orange and spice and what have you. And of course, like you're saying, anything Allagash does is going to be very well done.
Yeah. Absolutely, for sure. I'm looking up their beer on the website. It's Allagash two row malted barley blend, so they have their own special blend. I guess that's cool. Red wheat
Well,
malt, raw white wheat, oat, and carapils, hopped with nugget, crystal, and Czech Saaz. Spices: coriander, curacao, orange peel, Maine grown ginger. So what is it? Is it just their spice, their white, their wit, but ginger in it?
Well, definitely the alcohol is amped up on this because to be a winter beer, a winter seasonal beer, your regular kind of summer strength beer might not cut it.
Okay, yeah,
You
I guess
know,
you're right.
uh, so that's another adjustment for sure. Um, but yeah, the addition of the ginger is, one of the main changes there. So, and the increase of the alcohol, but color wise, they've left it nice and light. It looks like a nice white ale. It should. And yeah, it's a very pretty beer. But you don't notice the alcohol. too intensely because there's enough to balance it out in there.
You know what I do? I get a warming.
Yeah.
That's the hit from me. It's once you taste it after the citrus and the malt and the yeast and all that, it's just there's a nice warming effect that comes.
Yeah. And it's a few percent above where a normal wit beer would be. So, they're about 4.5, 5% or so
Mhm.
normally. This is a 7.5%er. So that helps. The balance for me is better because of that, especially with the addition of more spice.
Yeah.
They may have
So,
amped up the orange peel a little bit to get that
well,
fruitiness in there.
it's interesting because I'm looking at their key details of their Allagash White, which is just a banger of a beer. Their recipe is 2-row malted barley, local pale malt, red wheat malt, raw white wheat, oat, carapils. So it looks like for this beer for the ski house they swapped out the pale malt for the red wheat malt. Or no, did they leave it out in general? Yeah, so they just left it out and they just left it out.
Okay. Yeah, the local
Interesting.
pale malt.
Same hops, spices, coriander, curacao, orange peel. So for the ski house, they added Maine grown ginger. So yeah, so it's a beefier version, I guess, of their Allagash Wit. Um, change the malt profile a tiny bit, and then just add a ginger to it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you know what they did
Love
really
it.
well with that ginger? Ginger tends to be, I've judged enough homebrew in the last, 20 years that I always kind of wince when I get a ginger beer because it's so easy to go overboard on ginger. It's like vanilla. You can only a little bit goes a real long way.
Yeah.
And this there's ginger in here, but it doesn't dominate this beer. It doesn't dominate the flavor or the aroma, which that's a hard balance to do, and they did it I think perfectly.
I think it helps give a little the warmth combining with the alcohol. Like the ginger has kind of a warming impression too,
Yeah.
as a spice, and so it plays like a nice winter,
Yeah.
almost like a winter warmer, but the light version of that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I like it.
warming,
I think it's
pleasant.
It's
good.
festive, warming, and hazy according to the can.
Same.
Hazy beers are popular these days.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Despite my best efforts.
Hmm.
Yeah. What else I like about ginger in a beer, and what to Char's point, it is hard to use because there is a sweetness that gets added as well. And I think sometimes that ginger sweetness, if you don't have enough spice or if you don't have enough of that kick in it, the ginger kick, it can be kind of overwhelming. And that's like sweet ginger is not a good ginger.
Right. I'm also getting a little pepperiness from the yeast, which is giving it more complexity on the spice side of things too,
Yeah.
which is something that's in a wit beer a lot of times too, obviously. So yeah, it's a fruity and spicy beer. So it works really well as a winter seasonal. I could see why they chose this. It's a cute little
Yeah.
can with a little snowy house on it and a snowman and some skis and a snowboard sticking in the
Not
snow.
to mention it's, they got the recipe.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it is I've never really thought about like a imperial wit beer as like a serious beer. I know there was back in like the late 90s we were imperializing every fucking style in the world. And I know there was imperial wit beers out there, but like when
Imperial
you take
mild.
yeah, and you take an Allagash wit and do anything with it, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see why they did this beer. It's great. What would you guys give it for a what would it be, a spiced herb vegetable beer, right?
Yeah.
I'd give this a solid 38 or 40 myself. I really would. We may have. I hope we didn't get to do the best one first. We may have. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it plays the way it should for a spice beer. There are zero defects or flaws, and it's pretty fresh. It's released for this
Yeah.
season, and for early in the holiday season here. So yeah, 40 is fair, I would say.
Yeah, I would probably go 40-41. Like if we all sat down and we're like, yeah, whatever, I would have no problem going 41 on this beer. It's fantastic. For me, the only thing that I dislike kind of is the alcohol. The hotness of the alcohol sort of works against that lemony at the end of the palate. and it turns it a little bitter, a little too bitter for what I think it should be.
You can just get some Allagash White and blend them a little bit if you want to blend it down.
Just
Your
knock it down
palate
a little bit.
may be changing. You're getting used to the non-alcoholic now.
Maybe I'm mutating like some
Yeah.
sort of beast, like some demon homebrew beast. Um, yeah, that'd be the only thing I would point out. It's a little aggressive at the end, like in the center back of your palate. It's just a little,
Mhm.
a little
Warming.
little sharp. But I bet you throw a month on this, age it out, and I bet that goes away a little bit. Great beer,
Yeah.
fantastic beer. Shar, good pick, man.
No, you're very welcome. Glad everyone likes it.
Mhm.
We have 2 cans. We can enjoy a second can later on, and I plan to finish this glass. If I don't finish any other ones tonight, I'm finishing this.
There you go, man. Absolutely. You know what? I just had a flashback drinking this beer. It reminds me of some. I tie this in with like NHC, not because like I think that's probably where the first time I had this beer, like Allagash Wit, and there's like a lot of reference points in my mind of like being in a conference room with a bunch of homebrewers and just that last knockback flavor that's almost room temperature with the coriander and the thing, and it's like I don't know, it's just very happy, happy beer for me right now.
Yeah.
All right, what's our second beer for this Segi, boys?
Probably do the Shiner. That's the lightest alcohol wise, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shiner Holiday Cheer. Now, this is 5.4%. Now we're getting into where I exist. Ale brewed with peaches and pecans, and with natural flavor and caramel color. There's a lot of ands in here.
There
I don't
really
like the
are.
caramel color. I don't like that. I don't think that needs to be in here. You don't need a caramel color.
Yeah, I have to agree.
But I haven't had a Shiner in I think since I was in Texas for NHC and
well, at
1000
least
whatever.
they didn't add spiced juice to it.
The drink.
Spiced cranberry drink.
Yeah,
Yeah, give it
I
to
lived in
Taryn.
Houston for a year, like in the 90s, and I did not like Shiner. Maybe it's gotten better, but I did not care for the Shiner Bock because it's not really Bock.
No. I gave that last beer to Taryn and she
Oh.
smelled it. She goes, ooh. And she tasted it. She goes, oh, it's good. I'm like, yeah, read the ingredients. She's like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. Okay, so Shiner Holiday Cheer is what this is. Cute festive label. I love it. I don't really see like a brewed on date or anything like that, which is fine. Guess.
The aroma
Okay.
is better than I would have expected, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
actually is. It's not overwhelmingly peachy, but it doesn't smell artificially peachy.
Peach O's.
The pecan does really stand out in the
Yeah.
nose. It's nice.
It's a
Yep.
bag of peach O's. Candy.
Yeah, peach is very low. Caramel color, I'm not smelling at all. Natural flavor, other natural flavor, and holiday cheer. Okay. So the balance wise, what do you guys think about this?
I'm trying to process the flavor. The flavor and the aroma don't match for me, and I don't know what that is about. The aroma is yeah, it smells like peach candy. I don't really get
Yeah.
That smells peach.
the beer aroma, but that's the sweetness coming through. So I guess it doesn't really make sense. First of all, it's not really carbonated very well. The head dies down pretty fast. That's
There's
right out of the
something
bottle.
unpleasant in the finish that might be related to the peach flavoring or the pecan or something totally different. I'm having a hard time figuring out what I don't like about the finish.
Well, I think that it's got a fair amount of bitterness in the background there.
Yeah.
That's combining with the fruit in a little bit of an odd way. But or the nuttiness of the pecans. But peaches and pecans should go together really well, a fruit and nut pie,
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. There's something about trying to replicate those flavors in a drink. I don't think works very well because you need to like caramelize the sugars. And you know what I mean? Like that's why fruit and nut pies work well is because you're baking those sugars and stuff like that. I don't know. That's me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the wrong one here. Premium
Never.
2-row wheat and caramel malts, hops, specialty hops, yeast, lager. Okay, so they don't really give a shit. Our old world Dunkelweizen is brewed with Texas peaches and roasted pecans. So this is a Dunkelweizen. The flavors of this dark wheat ale are enhanced through krausening, ensuring a smoothness that makes this brew all the more satisfying. It got a bronze in the 2013 Australian International Beer Awards. That's the medal that I got. Yeah, that's all they say on their website, which is a little disappointing.
Yeah,
But,
and I'm not sure what the base style is. A lot of times when I'm looking at
Dunkelweizen.
oh, okay, I missed that. Sorry, I was trying to pull something up there.
Dunkelweizen.
Okay, so premium 2-row wheat and caramel malts.
So is Shiner Bock a Dunkelweizen? Like it feels like this is their Shiner Bock, but I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not a big fan of it. I think the flavors are weird. I think that peach is artificial and it stands out as artificial against the backdrop of a decent beer. But the peach is too overwhelming for me. I dislike it. I would give it this a 32.
The bitterness says 22 IBUs. So whatever I'm getting is like a bitterness in the late palate is something else.
I get
like
it too, and
like a spiced edge, or
I was chalking it up to maybe having like leftover ski house on my palate, but I don't think that's the case. If you guys are all getting it too, I mean,
I fully rinsed the glass.
I got a new glass.
Yeah,
I get a new glass every time. I'm cool.
maybe it's the roasting of the pecans that's doing it. It's getting like a ashy, or not ashy or burnt, but like the edge of a bitterness from the roasting process.
Could be.
Dark wheat ale.
Yeah, I'm not getting much of this Dunkelweizen character, and I love a good Dunkelweizen.
Yeah,
I'm sitting with it. I apologize for the pause, but it I don't know. It's I think it's like Shinerbach. It's a non-offensive beer that you normally wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I think if you're not a beer drinker and you're looking for a beer to bring to a holiday party or Christmas party or something like that, and you like a spice beer or peach or whatever, this would be fine. You could drink this, you could have a couple of these and be like, yeah, I've had my fill of holiday beers.
And it's only 5%. Like unlike other holiday beers that amp it up to 20, these guys did not. So
yes, I do appreciate that because even us low alcohol drinkers like myself, we like a good holiday beer. You know what I'm trying to say, boys?
But I would say, lower 30s for this, 30, 31.
I'm not sold on it. I don't like it. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to let it warm up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That might help. Shrug emoji. I don't know.
It's like a candy-like peach thing, like the peach rings kind of thing, but not as acidic, and it's just kind of
peach O's. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Artificial.
It's like a bag of peach O's.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. And that's probably the natural flavor that they're talking about. They probably brewed it on peaches maybe or something like that, and then they had to goose it with a little bit of flavoring at bottling or whatever. I don't know. But we all know working with flavoring is hard to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think peach is one. The more I drink this, the more I think there's that it's primarily artificial.
Yeah.
Or some sort of extract or something and that artificiality is, I think, what is holding this back from being a really good beer.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's its problem. Is that peach flavoring. I would love to try this beer without the peaches because I think it's an easy drinking beer. It's a smooth drinking beer. I think the pecans could be very interesting. It is a little bitter, but you can overlook that, I guess. But yeah, without the peach flavoring, I think this would be 36.
The other thing they could do, and I hate to say it, is to balance this out and give the impression of sweetness. In addition to using maybe more natural peach source, or if it's not already. But yeah, use a little more alcohol to balance the fruit and the spice. Well, yeah, I mean the fruit and the nuttiness that's there to give it a little sweetness, to be a little more pie-like. Because it's dry. It's not
Yeah.
well, it's not bone dry, but it's pretty dry, and it's 5.4 or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
it kind of, well, okay, it's beer with a little fruit and a little nuttiness, and it's not really quite playing right balance wise for me either. So it's
Yeah.
it's a nice looking bottle. Their website, you scroll down the web page and the bottle like jumps from the top down into the middle of the facts about it, which is pretty good web stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a historic brewery from
It's specialty
Texas.
hops.
They've been doing this for a while and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a screw top, so it's easy to open. It's in a
Perfect,
bottle.
man. There you go. Yeah, I
brown
think
bottle.
It pairs with
Classic.
fruitcake, maple glazed ham, and gift wrapping.
it needs more carbonation too.
Yeah.
You could drink a few of these while you're gift wrapping, unlike the Belgian we're going to taste here later and not get too hammered at all.
Yes.
Right. All right, let's take a quick break, everybody. We're going to come back. We're going to have another beer here on the Dr. Homebrew Christmas Beer Show. Yay! All right, thanks for sticking around, everybody. We are back with a classic winter beer, classic winter warmer, classic Christmas ale, Jubile Ale from Deschutes.
Juba.
Now, I'm not a Deschutes fan. I think their house yeast has a weird fruitiness to it that I just have never liked. And I don't know the last time I had a Jubile Ale. It's been so long ago that I recognize the label is different than it used to be. I don't know if it changes every year. So I'm interested to try this again. This is a Deschutes beer up to one of those beers that I would never buy a 6-pack of, but I'm always interested to try it, to check in with the boys, check in with the lads, and see how they're doing.
Yeah, it's one where to me there's a lot of seasonal variation in Jubile Ale. I haven't had it for a while because there were some about 15 years ago they had a run of 2 or 3 years where I just didn't care for it, but it does change a lot every year.
Yeah.
Well,
for better or for worse, do you think?
Well, we'll find out here in a minute.
Yeah, I guess we will, man. Let me pull up the website here. What do you guys think of it so far?
So this is getting the cocoa in the nose and the flavor nicely. It says dusted cocoa. So it
Ooh,
should have
dusted cocoa.
yeah. Embrace the comforting warmth of tradition with this festive winter ale, embodying the spirit of celebration since 1988. Jubile Ale features notes of spice, a robust malt character, hints of toffee, and dusted cocoa. 6.7% ABV.
Jeez. I'm looking at their website now. Excuse me, Jesus Christ. And for the details and ingredients, here's the malt bill for this beer. Malt, pale, clear, extra special, Carapils roasted barley.
What is
What's
clear malt?
clear malt?
Never heard of that.
That's weird.
Let's see if we can buy it in at More Beer.
Clear malt. It's a clear choice pale malt. It's crisp.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. So it's crisp pale malt, extra special, Carapils roasted barley, hops, Bravo, Cascade, Delta, U.S. Tetnang, and EKG. That's a lot of.
Why
that's
so
a
many
lot.
hops?
I don't
I know EKG is going to get just overwhelmed by everything.
I know.
Cascade, especially. Yeah, probably Bravo for bittering, I would guess. I don't know.
This is a weird beer, man. This is exactly how I remember it. It's confusing to me, and I'm not shitting on it, so don't fucking at me. But
I'll at you anytime I want.
Deschutes to me has always been just kind of one of those breweries that they're so old school, you can't change. Everything about this beer is taking me back to like 1998, dude. It's weird.
Yeah, it's the cocoa is really, I get a lot of bitterness from this that I think is from the cocoa and not from the hops, but there's enough hops in here, it could easily be the hops.
So The nice thing about this is that there is definitely a beer base under this that is, it has roasted barley in it, which is accenting the cocoa with a chocolatey, roasty edge to it. And that's kind of nice. It's unlike, the Shiner was kind of a little nondescript on the beer side of things. We weren't getting any distinct style. Now I would say this is probably also, I don't know what if they declare a base style for it. Maybe just a basic kind of brown ale. It's not a stout, even though it has roasted barley. But it's just like a winter warmer, like maybe kind of a base style, I guess. I don't know. But it's not super strong either. It's like pushing towards 7%. But I like where the alcohol falls for this. It's not too heavy and it's not too light.
Yeah.
The roast is not overpowering. It declares a fair amount of toffee. There's 3 out of 5 bars for toffee on the label, 2 out of 5 for roast, 2 out of 5 for bitter, 3 out of 5 for fruit. So the toffee and the fruit are in there, but to me they're more kind of even with the roast and the chocolatiness, and not really standing out too much. But balance wise, it's not too bad.
It's okay. There's a cherries Jubile Ale that is it's a 10%er barrel aged with cherries and vanilla, which I didn't see, but Total
Sure.
Wine.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It seems that you get it at the brewery itself, but
Yeah, it's just festive winter warmer or festive winter ale.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a beer.
This has been around for a long time. I will agree with you that JP, it's a kind of a throwback and takes you back to back when there were fewer choices for beers, and this is one that you might pass over. But if
Well, I remember, I don't know about your drinking experience, but I'm old enough to remember like going to the liquor store and there's not a whole lot of even Bevmo, and there weren't a whole lot of options for winter beers. And that was kind of a ritual that I would have with my friends is we would go and we would buy just all the winter beers because, it's new, you don't get it very often or whatever. It's only out for a couple months, so you grab it whenever you can. And this was one of those beers where it's like, okay, I'm getting it because it's a winter beer and I want that right
I used to
now.
really like the Pyramid Snow Cap back in the early days of that. It was a really good winter warmer kind of a beer. It
Yeah,
wasn't
that's right.
spiced, and I'm not the biggest on spiced and fruited beers. Like they
Yeah.
have to be really well balanced. I can tell when it's a good one, but I just liked. I think I would like the base in this beer without honestly, without the spice and the fruitiness. It's a little.
Well, there's no actual spice in it,
They
right?
never say that. I mean,
Sure.
they say that there's notes of spice, but they never mention
Yeah.
whether there's a spice addition or not that I
No,
could
I
see.
don't think. I think it's just from the malt and the yeast because their yeast is super fruity for me. It throws a lot of phenols or whatever the term is. And I'm losing my vocabulary, so I just say a word and then I quantify with or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't think there's anything added to it. I think it's just the beer and the recipe.
So it's a winter warmer, okay.
Yeah.
With that's the tasting notes, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's that yeasty part, the berry, the plum, the fruity notes that are reminiscent of like Black Butte Porter for me, which is why I don't like that because Black Butte Porter is very heavy on like the roast malt and their yeast throws a lot of fruit and I don't like that combination clashes for me and they stick out and I don't like it. I Chris Graham at More Beer is a big Black Butte boy. And I always made fun of him. He was like, this is a terrible beer. It doesn't hit my palate at all. And this is what it tastes like. So I think it's just their house yeast throws weird shit.
I'm
Which is
looking at
cool for them.
a BYO clone recipe for it, and it calls for the Y East 1187 Ringwood Ale or the White Labs WP05 British Ale. So it's definitely
Weird.
throwing like British beer kind of character
For
for
sure.
sure. And that is where the fruit impression, there's no specific fruit. So yeah, I'm like reading too much into the notes on the label here. But yeah, that's, I wonder,
Well, you're
the
doing too much.
spiciness,
That's all.
the spiciness doesn't seem to be coming from the yeast. And I wonder where that's coming from.
Hops. I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe that's
a
why
good
they've got
question.
all those different hops in there. They're using
Yeah.
US Tetnon and
I would love this with like
Oh.
some peaches and soured or something like that. Like, I think it's a cool and unique beer to fuck with, but I don't like it enough to drink. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all.
All right. Good. Good. Because you'd be off the show if you did, Brian.
God
Tired of
damn
your
it.
shit.
I know. You're
So
sick of this.
the
Almost
snow
have an out.
cap, the old pyramid snow cap was like an 8%. It was like, and that was definitely like winter warmer. And you drink a few of those and you're really feeling the warmth and it was a little more chocolatey than this. This has just kind of a roasty edge and, a little bitterness
What I
from
love about you,
that.
Brian, is like we're suddenly now talking about snow cap.
I know. Well, I think
It's
of
called like
that as,
snow cap. I thought that was a good
weave.
beer. I
I
enjoyed
think
it.
of that as like a winter warmer, and
is.
I'm just comparing it with that because I didn't drink a lot of this, but I did drink a fair amount of that when it was still around.
Of course you did.
And
I
the
can see that
pyramid
about you.
is no more, but
Um,
yeah. And then one year they changed everything and the recipe or something totally changed. And I bought
Yeah.
Snow Cap and it tasted nothing like it did before. And I was so angry. And I talked to the brewer. I was like, "Could you please change this back?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't change anything." But okay, something obviously changed.
palate mutated. All right, let's take our last break. We're going to come back with our last beer, and we're going to get out of here. So hang on, everyone. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back. Okay, thanks for hanging around, everybody. We are back with the final beer of the night. Nice chouf. How do you even say that? I don't understand French. What is that? Chouf. Nice chouf. Nice.
It's from the Wallonian dialect. The word ashuf, or simply chouf, can be loosely translated as gnome or imp or fairy or elf.
Okay.
I would like to open this segment by just reading the back of this bottle because it cracks me up.
All right, good.
When the little animals in fairyland hibernate, the ashuf gnomes love to gather in their cottage. By the gentle firelight, they spend long evenings telling the best Ardennes stories while enjoying a delicious Nice chouf. Smooth, with spicy notes of thyme and orange peel, this dark beer links both hearts and atmospheres, making even the coldest winters joyful.
That's very pleasant and to the point.
I want to hear like Bjork reading that or something. Somebody with a great accent. I can't do it.
That would be fucking amazing.
I can't do it justice, but it's so quaint and their marketing is really, really nice.
It's cute. Yeah. Belgian dark beer brewed with spices, which are orange peel and thyme.
On their website, they have a recipe for the beef stew with Nice chouf.
God, that's the most expensive beef stew you're going to have, man.
4 to 6 persons.
Okay, so what kind of beer is this? Is it a specific style of beer?
I would say it's a spiced Belgian dark strong ale.
Spiced Belgian dark strong. It's 10%. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Nice Chouf is the winter beer from the Chouf Brewery. We recommend that you enjoy it from mid-October to mid-February, preferably by the fireplace. Well, sorry, we're in California.
That ain't happening,
new construction, we can't have a fireplace.
Dark
fireplace. Beer, slightly hoppy, spiced with thyme and curacao. Okay, so the orange peel is curacao. Okay, okay, wait. And made using orange peel.
That's redundant.
Yeah, it has an alcohol content of 10%. Nice Chouf goes well with any winter dish. Only available in specialty shops.
It's got thyme in it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting spice choice, yeah.
3 reasons to drink it. Number 1, because on the snow, it is also important to have a good descent. 2, it unconditionally warms the cockles of your heart. Number 3, the experts all agree. Without a nice chouf, it is impossible to spend the winter in the Valley of the Fairies. Okay, there you go, man.
Well, that's
Okay.
interesting.
All right. Well, let's get into this beer then.
Beer brewed with orange peel and thyme, 10%.
The time is all immediately throwing like a cedar pencil thing.
Yeah, I got thyme, and then you said cedar pencil, and I immediately smelled like a number 2 pencil,
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
like the old wooden kind.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
That's
a
a bold
carpenter's
spice.
pencil.
It's a bold spice against the beer, but the beer is bold, so it may be appropriate.
I actually really like the combination. Didn't think I was going to like the thyme. I think the thyme goes really well with this beer.
They have an alcohol-free shoof.
Mm,
Fuck.
Oh, wow. Oh, they do.
Sorry, I threw it. Okay. Yeah. What do you guys think? What are you loving?
I think the balance is very good. The spice stands out, and it's sharp in the nose, but when you get into the flavor, it combines really nicely with the alcohol. And it's a lot of alcohol, but it's not hot or really, I mean, it's warming, but it's not intense or biting or sharp. It's soft and it's well crafted.
Yeah.
it's really warming.
It is.
Yeah.
That
It's very
Belgian.
very highly carbonated as well. So there's a prickle, and it effervesces as you drink it. And that combines with everything else there too, the spice and the alcohol, and just like it's a real presentation.
It is that Belgian base
Mhm.
is rich and toffee and syrupy and very. I mean, obviously, Le Chouffe makes they're fantastic beers. They're great beers. You can't go wrong with them.
Yeah.
They're classic beers. I love them so much. But the time edition, it's like a sandpaper in the middle. It just kind of like grinds everything to a halt, and it's unpleasant.
Okay, so for you, it's a what would you have used instead?
I'm not saying that I could pick anything better. I'm just saying that this bottle representative of nothing, I guess, is that it's just it doesn't come off as time. It comes off as wood, and I don't. It sort of clashes with the smoothness of everything else. What would I have used instead? Sage. Fucking
Oh.
asshole.
All right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. What
I would
you guys don't get that? You don't get like
I
that
get a
kind of,
wood-like character. Yeah, that's
and it's not unpleasant. It's not unpleasant for you.
I like it.
it combines with
Yeah.
everything that's there. The spiciness from the yeast character and the thyme, it's combining
on.
pretty well.
I'm going to the spice cabinet.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
You
Go
know,
into
what's
the spice
interesting to
cabinet.
me about this beer is the orange peel really kind of gets lost.
Mhm. Yeah,
There's
that's true.
it's there, but you have to kind of go thinking about it. It's not super, and I kind of like that because sometimes beers that have that curacao or the dried orange peel, they get way too dried orange peely.
Yeah.
I had to go get a bottle of thyme because I
Mm.
guess I'm
Uh-huh.
not even really sure what thyme tastes like. You know what I mean? So maybe that's it. Maybe the woodiness I'm getting is just thyme.
Maybe they talk about that beef stew. Thyme is really great with beef, and
It's
maybe
a
that's why they suggest using this in beef
yeah,
stew.
it's a good it accents the savoriness of meats,
Yeah.
red meat, and
Yeah, I mean,
it's got an herbal woodsy kind of character, maybe.
it does. I mean, especially you horking on this bottle. Yeah. So for people who aren't like watching, I got a spice bottle. I'm sniffing it, and it smells like this tastes, but
Yeah.
it's not enough for me of a aromatic here. I'm gonna take
Sprinkle
some in
some
my
into your beer,
hand.
JP. See if it improves it.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm
Oh,
sprinkling it in the beer.
really?
Yep.
Okay.
Look, man, we're just, you gotta do some shit sometimes to get it.
You're getting all weird like me, blending
Now it
stuff.
just kind of smells like oregano, and now I want lamb. I don't know.
Okay.
It's to me, man.
Well, go cook a rack of lamb there,
I'm too
buddy.
Greek for
Come back
this
and
planet.
yeah. Hmm.
Look, I'll be honest. Sprinkling it on the beer, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. So there you go. You guys want to drink nice shoof, get a little
Yeah.
dried thyme, sprinkle it on there. Be like me. Be cool. Yeah, I don't
Wow.
mind it. I like it. See, now I like it because what I think what I just did is I balanced out the woody character of the thyme that's in the beer with like the kind of sweeter herbal notes of the actual like thyme. To me, now
Okay.
that pairs really well with everything. It tied everything together for me. I
So now
get
you're
it
getting
now.
more of the essence of the spice and you understand the beer better.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it now.
Well, I really like the dark fruit flavors and aromas in this beer. It's got, a nice, undertone of raisin, plum, that's blending with everything else here. The spicy phenols combining with the thyme. It's a little intense it's perky. Not biting per se, but um, the alcohol is kind of maybe covering up. If the beer was 7%, you'd taste a lot more of that intensity on the phenol side, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's, beers like this aren't my favorite because they are very heavy, and it just feels like a lot to go through to drink. But then I have to
Yeah.
remember that it's not, you don't have to drink the whole thing. Like, this is a 330 mil, and you could easily split this between 2 or 3 people and be completely satisfied. This
Yeah.
is such a chewy monster. What would you guys give this as far as spiced? Well, yeah, I guess it's a spiced winter
A spiced Belgian dark strong,
spice Belgian dark strong. Yeah.
26T.
Yeah. What do you think you'd give this? Taking into account balance and stuff like that, like what we're talking about. You always
I
tell
think
Brian Cooper puts his thinking cap on when he squints at, he like sits up straight and squints at you. Yeah.
it plays pretty well. I don't have a problem with it, honestly. I think it's a good Belgian dark strong base. It has the declared spice. The orange peel is lacking. It's
Mhm.
kind of covered up, so I maybe pull
Agreed.
it back a little bit for that. Go like a 38. I think it's really good.
Shar, what do you think?
I like it a lot. Again, I'm kind of with you in that I just don't drink beers like this that much anymore because they are pretty big and they are a lot to get through. And I'll probably end up finishing this, but it's also, you know, it you can have one of these and then that's all you're going to have to drink that night. It's 10%, it's 12 ounces, it's good. I really like the fact that the ethanol for a 10% beer, you get some ethanol sweetness, but that's not overpowering. There's no harsh ethanol in this. The fermentation is fantastic. I like the time. I'd like maybe back off in the time a little bit and have a little more of the orange peel. But overall, I think it's different. It's well made. It's not just the same Belgian recipe, which is from a
Yeah.
different brewery like you get sometimes. Because
Yeah.
I love Belgian beer, but sometimes it's just sometimes they're super experimental. Sometimes they're so formalized that everyone just uses the same ingredients and nobody wants to do anything different. I think the time is great
Yeah.
from that standpoint.
It's kind of a bold
I'd,
choice.
It
I'd
is a
give it a
bold choice.
35-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely added too much into my glass because it gets oregano-y. But
Yes.
yeah, it is a bold choice. I get it. I didn't get it before, but I get it now.
The beef stew recipe calls for a full liter of the beer.
And more time to be added in there too. But I bet it would
Yeah,
taste amazing.
butter
I
and
bet it's
thyme.
fucking phenomenal.
I
And
like it too. I would probably rock a 30. Well, considering they call, okay, if I'm judging remembering what the beer tasted like before I added the actual herbs, I wouldn't know that that was thyme. I don't think the thyme would be expressed too well. The curacao is not there, but the base beer is so phenomenal. Yeah, 38. Is that too high?
I don't think so.
No.
You know, I'm looking at this recipe for the beef stew, and I'm thinking this
Oh
is
shit! Shard's hungry. Watch out, everybody.
Sorry, yeah, I know. I need some more food, but you know, I'm just thinking, you know, this actually would be a really good stew to make in the Instant Pot because
Mhm.
you know, essentially you put in that liter of I just use one bottle instead, along with some some beef broth.
That could be your
Uh,
entire liquid base for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Doctor
one cup
Middle
of
Aged
water, I
Homebrew
would just make
man.
that. You would use like some beef, uh, uh, some beef
A
bouillon
bouillon.
essentially, a bottle of the nice choux, and that Instant Pot. You know, you put it cooking time 2 hours. Nah, I'd cook it for 30, 40 minutes in there, and you'd be sure
Hey, Shard.
you get all that alcohol out, and you'd get left behind with that awesome choux. I think
Yeah,
I may use my second bottle in some
do
beef
it,
stew.
brother. Absolutely
Mhm.
fucking rock it. Let me know how it goes. What I want to do is real fast hit that ski house again.
Yeah.
It's warmed up. It's 74 in my studio. The beer's slightly cool, so probably 70, 65. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Tastes fucking awesome.
Wow, the ginger really
Oh
comes
man.
out as you retaste it now.
It really does.
Yeah, and
I
the
think as it
aroma.
warms up, that ginger's coming out and it's good.
It's candy-like, but not
Yeah.
in a obvious candy way. It's just like really
And I don't
pleasant.
get that kind of like weird bitterness that I was getting.
I think we have a winner as far as
I
yeah.
think it's not throwing that weird kind of bitterness that I was getting
Mhm.
at the end of the palate. Beer rocks, dude. I love this beer.
It's really
It's real
good.
good.
Yeah. We did drink the first one first. The
Yeah.
best one first.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that
I'm okay with it
because
too.
we came back to that and man,
We
it
did.
got better as it warmed up, which is not always the case.
If
No.
we started on the niche shoof and went backwards to the shiner, we would have been all kinds of like, what is this? I can't taste anything.
No, absolutely not. If you want us to taste nothing, then don't email Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. But if you want us to taste your homebrew, email Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com or any sort of fermented beverage. I'll tell you what, I have the greatest idea right now. We're getting into holiday season. People are making cookies and cakes and pies and fucking bullshit like that. If you want us to taste your baked goods, email Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. I'm a pie professional. I'm a pie connoisseur. I love a pie.
Huh.
But stop playing with shit. Go away.
Uh,
I love a pie. So send me a slice
Yeah.
of your pie. I will fucking judge the shit out of it, dude. We'll give you a
Yeah,
blue
if you
ribbon
wanna
in baking. It'll be great.
if we want to change the focus of the show to pie, I'm down. Or if we want
Well,
to have like,
we're just
Dr.
adding the
Homebrew
focus.
and Pie Maker, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that too.
Well, anything you make at home, we'll judge it. Just email Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com and come over to the I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore.
you guys,
Mm.
what's up with you? Did you like partake of an herb infused beer or some of these Christmas beers have a little cannabis spice in them or
Why? What do you like? Because
I
we're
don't know.
hungry?
You're,
We got
you're
the
having
munchies?
really stony ideas and you want pie.
Look, these beers are bringing up pie flavors for me. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay,
not
got it.
sorry.
I got it.
Well, we're talking
what?
about that beef stew recipe from Shoof, so
Yeah, that
I'll tell
sounds
you
we're
what,
really
thinking
good.
about food now.
this ski house, I think, would make a pretty good addition in like a lemon meringue pie or some shit like that.
Okay.
This would be good. See, we're getting places.
I'm down.
Yeah. All right, Brian at brewingnetwork.com. Email that boy. He'll get you on the list, and we'll get you on the show. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate your I want to say patience. It feels like the first word that comes to mind. Maybe that's accurate. I don't know.
We
But
got
I
through 4
appreciate you
beers.
guys-
Yeah, it was a lot.
I appreciate you guys tuning into the show and supporting us the way that you do. It means a lot, and I appreciate the fact that you guys keep listening, even when we don't have homebrew on the show, which is not our fault. It's your fault. I'm gonna put it right on your shoulders. And actually, I've been thinking about brewing again. I almost did last week, but I didn't. So hopefully, by the next time we talk, I'll have some beer again, and we can get back into do a little bit of homebrew talk. But
Yeah,
anyway.
I'll share my cider with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great. I'm down.
All right. Cool. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And until next time, we will see you later.